Hello and welcome to the OnlyBets Sports Podcast with your host SternBets and DrewDelucchi. We are here to break down the best bets for your Monday. Also very exciting. We had Selection Sunday yesterday. And we have plenty of March Madness to get to. We are going to hopefully have a more full of a show dedicated just to the brackets and what we kind of think from them. But we're going to bring in DrewDelucci. How you doing, man? How was your weekend?
Good. My weekend was good. Very exciting weekend. Full of conference finals and such. And then we got to see the bracket release. I'll say shout out to Joe Lenardi. He was nearly perfect on his projections. That's why they call him the doctor of bracketology. He got 68 out of the 68 field correct. He also was 57 out of 60 correct on seeding. The reason why I say 57 out of 60 because he's not counting the first four. So congrats to him on that. There's a reason he gets paid to do what he does.
That's awesome. Wow. What was your biggest shocker for who got in and who didn't get in? And I would probably say on my end, I probably Auburn has got to be the biggest surprise for me. But what was your biggest surprise going got in, who didn't get in?
Yeah, my biggest surprise who got in. First, I'll say I don't think Auburn deserved to go in. I know they had a great strength of schedule, but they just had too many losses and they tailed off at the end, relied too much on conference. But my biggest surprise who got in was Missouri. I personally don't think Missouri to deserve to get in. I know some people believe that as well. I'm not just saying that as a Kansas fan. I know other spaces, other people may accuse me of that, but if you look at them, yes, they did have some really good quad one wins, but they were also 5-6 in quad two wins, which is not good at all by any means. Personally, if they did get in, I think they should have gone with the first four where they had to play to get in. A team that you could have replaced them with, in my opinion, is Texas or NC State to fight to get in, or even SMU. But that was my biggest surprise of who got in. Besides that, I think they did it pretty well.
Yeah, yeah. All right, we're going to come back to March Madness because I do have some picks and I would love to hear your thoughts on them. And I would like
Oh
to
yeah,
hear
definitely. I
what
have a NBA pick, and I think that's it for today from me. Besides going over March.
Okay, yeah, for sure. I just also want to recap the game yesterday between in the World Baseball Classic between the USA and the DR. Now, if you were looking for a banger of a game, that was it. Now, it might not have been a banger of a game in terms of offensive explosion from these two all-time, possibly the greatest two lineups facing each other in the World Baseball Classic ever. I mean, hey, I would include maybe all-star games. I don't know if we've seen that level of all-stars throughout. I mean, that was unbelievable game. Paul Skeens, filthy. I am very excited. I think he's going to be the best pitcher in all of baseball by the time that he's done his career. You know, clearly some rookie or younger mistakes, leaving balls a little bit out there, but I've never seen stuff like him. I've never seen stuff like him. The ball moves left and right with ease, painting the strike zone. Did you watch the game yesterday, or were you just focused on March Madness?
Oh, I watched the game. What I was doing was right when March Madness end, I was watching the game while I was in the space talking about March Madness. I was in, and it was amazing to watch Skeens pitch. I know we didn't get to do it last time around, but also shout out to Logan Webb against Canada. Two different style of pitchers between Logan Webb and Skeens. It's a gift that USA has both. I think Skeens is going to be the best pitcher in baseball, next to Scooble for sure. The dude is only like 20 something years old. And something about what's crazy about Logan Webb and Skeens? They were 1 and 2 in the NL in strikeouts, and Webb was actually one in strikeouts. So shout out to Webb and Skeens' performance so far.
Yeah, shout out to their performance, not necessarily to my performance. We're looking back on a recap from Friday. I went 4-4, which is not exactly where I want to be. To be fair, that Venezuela Japan game didn't expect leadoff home runs from Shohei and Acuna. That was really cool. Going back a little bit further, congratulations to Venezuela for getting that game done. I don't think anyone expected that. And I guess we're going to walk right into it. Do you have any leans, thoughts for the game coming up between Italy and Venezuela here? I'll go after you because I
Yeah.
mean I'm just going to shoot myself in the foot if I pick a team here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Before we do that, I will say shout out to Gunnar Henderson, the young guns, Gunnar Henderson and Roman Anthony. Shout out to Mark DeRosa. He got a lot of heat, but he pitched an absolute gem, as David Ortiz said, who was a fellow who was a Dominican. Uh, he decided to sit Bregman and bring in Gunnar. He made great pitching moves. He took Skeens out, I believe, at the right time. I know Skeens is amazing, but he has 71 pitches. I could tell he's getting a little wild. And then Tyler Rogers, who he just signed, hit Soto into a double play. And the whole bullpen was amazing. David Bednar got out of jam. And then here came Mason Miller making things crazy and sweaty. And then I know people are saying that last pitch was controversial, but to let people know, I watched a side view of that. It actually did cross Perdomo's knees. It's just that if he messed, Mason Miller is so disgusting. He messed with the pitch like tracks to where it literally dropped right after it crossed the plate to where it looked like a ball. But also, lastly, I'm going to shout out your boy Stern. Shout out to Aaron Judge for one of those crucial throws of the game.
Oh yeah, man. Oh, that was
I had to represent the Yankees there for you.
thank you. He had, I think,
He has a cannon.
three outstanding defensive plays, two throws and a dive that changed the games. Changed the games. Yeah, that was an awesome throw. I don't think anyone really expected that from him. The arm is back. That's all you can say.
Yep, and that's good to see, and that's something that I think of for the more casual fans of Aaron Judge. You think of him as as a statue and stuff. No, that dude has a missile. He's always been a plus fielder in the outfield, with especially with his long strides. So I was going to say that real quick, but for Venezuela versus Japan, I mean not Japan, Venezuela versus Italy. It's hard to doubt this Italian team. I think at the end of the day, but Venezuela does have great bats, I believe. And I think with their great bats, they can make this a very interesting game. The key for Italy is, hey, can you continue to produce runs, continue to have those big innings that they've been having? And if they can, I think I can see Italy winning this game. I'm going to back Italy with honestly plus 1.5 in this case. So I just can't I have to ride the wagon with them. They've been proving people wrong, and I think if this game, if they're going to lose, it's only going to be by 1 run.
Well, they definitely have my number because I'm an 0-4 fading them. Started out the competition 8-2 and have so far been under 500 since then. So yeah, I'm not going to touch either side in this game. I will be watching as a fan of baseball. Very happy that I took the USA to win it all at -110 because I think the number has gotten pushed down to -400 now, no matter
Yep.
who wins this game. But you have Aaron Nola facing Cater Montero, and something that's interesting about these two pitchers are they are almost the exact opposites when you look at the underlying metrics.
I
Aaron
think it's
Nola.
Michael Lorenzen.
Oh, you know what? You might be right. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at Baseball Savant right now. They might have it wrong here. So I actually like that more for Italy. I don't necessarily like Montero that much. I don't, if he's the starting pitcher. Now, he's good at getting batters off kilter. So he has a pretty good barrel rate, 8.1, and a hard hit rate at 39.4. But he doesn't really have the whiff or the strikeouts to be able to kind of move through the more dangerous parts of Italy's lineup. He has only a 19.8% whiff rate. The league average is 22. And his strikeout rate's at 18.5. Also, league average is somewhere around 22 to 24%. The expected metrics for Kadar is concerning. He has a 446 expected slugging and a 260 expected batting average. So everything screams to me that Italy should be negatively regressing, but I haven't seen anything to that. So I'm just laying off, and I'm going to enjoy a good game of baseball. I expect it to be tight, and I'm going to be loving every moment of it. So no play for
So
me, but yeah.
So a neat fact about Italy is they had 12 home runs in pool play. They didn't have any home runs in their quarterfinal matchup. But yeah, this team, they can hit bombs. I know Vinny counted for a decent amount of those, but they have Vinny Pasquantino, Jack Caglione.
Caglione!
Yeah. So in Italian, it's pronounced actually Caglione. You know, I
From
was
high
his fellow
school, I know
Italian.
I would be canceled.
So Pat McAfee actually said a fun thing was he had Vinny on the show 'cause he's a good friend of the show. He said, I was looking at this, and Pat McAfee's hilarious if you guys watch him. He was like, I'm looking at this. This is an all-time names lineup. You know, and it's like, and then Pat McAfee asked Vinny, was like, did you make this lineup based off of they need a vowel at the end? I was like, yeah, that's how most Italians' last names are, the vowels at the end. So yeah.
I had to unmute myself so you could hear me laughing. All right. Do you have any plays or leans? I guess you said Italy plus 1.5 is kind of what
Yeah,
I'm.
so it's at plus 105 right now, so I'm curious to see. Honestly, I'm curious to see what it is right now. If I do, let me see this real quick. Plus 2.5 is minus 145, so that isn't bad.
Mhm.
So I may do something with that if I have a boost.
Yeah, if you have a boost, sure. I would just take them. I would just take the better price line here. Something that I would lean to here, maybe Italy first five money line at plus 150 offers a little bit of good value. I'm going to put a quarter unit on that just to track it, but I've dropped off on my good picks here, so I'm kind of leaning off any official play. But I'm going to play that right now on air. I think that offers decent value. You got definitely the better pitcher and the hotter lineup. So
Yeah, the pitcher that stifled USA's lineup.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Although you could always argue that someone who just went through a lineup like that is due for a negative regression, which is my
Yeah.
whole argument against Italy in the first place. But again, haven't seen any signs of it, so I'm off. All right, let's move on to the NBA here. A little bit of a complicated slate from what I've seen. Give me your best bet here. What are you looking at? I do have a three leg money line parlay that I'm not so excited for, but I put a half a unit on it. But give me your play first, and let's see where we
Yeah,
go.
so there's not much like I would say like straight money lines or spreads. I like if and I'm not as great with the parlay when it comes to this stuff. I like the Magic and Hawks. You know what? I am all for this over in this game. I'm done thinking the Magic are going to digress in scoring. I love the Magic and Hawks to score a lot of points against each other, especially the way the Hawks been playing, especially the way Paolo's been playing. I think 231.5 is too low for this kind of game. I know last time I played it together, they went under, but these two teams have been averaging like 115 plus points per game, and I expect a pretty dang high scoring game.
Yeah, I definitely see that. The Hawks have scored over 122 in three of their last five. Oh, sorry, four out of their last five games. And that's
And Magic's defense has not been what they were, but they also have been playing great offense.
yeah, and honestly, if I'm looking at their both teams in their last four out of their last five games have gone over 120 points each. So I think this is a great look, man.
Yeah, exactly. And then something I will say also, shout out shout out to my Warriors for playing to their competition. They just keep losing by low margins to really good teams, and then they lose by low margins to bad teams. So playing to our competition.
Well, I hope they turn it around tonight against Washington. I took a three-leg money line parlay featuring the Warriors, Trailblazers, and Celtics for again a half a unit. When I went through the games last night, the spreads were not available. Normally, I would take an expanded spread. These are the three teams that I like. But the Warriors playing Washington, they should get it done. They need to turn around this losing streak, but both teams have lost the last five straight. So that's a tough one, but I think the Warriors are the better team
Yes,
overall. The Trailblazers should get it done against Brooklyn. I don't have to say anything about Brooklyn, right? They're just terrible. And then the Boston
terrible
Celtics.
everywhere.
The Celtics are, I think, one of the more undervalued best teams in the entire league. I have been cashing on them fairly consistently over the last month, even before Jaylen Brown came back. I think that they have a better lineup than Phoenix. I think that they should get it done. I don't know if they cover the spread necessarily, but I definitely like them to get it done. So you can get that at plus 108, Warriors, Trailblazers, and Celtics for a half a unit over on FanDuel. I believe I played it. Any thoughts on those three games?
Yeah. So good news for the Warriors. I don't know if you saw this, but I follow their beat writers and stuff. But apparently Draymond and Porzingis is supposed to play today. So I think Porzingis probably play like 20 minutes or so. So that's going to help them, especially I believe Horford is out. And of course, Jimmy Butler's done for the season and Curry's still out. And Pajemski has taken a big step up as the primary scorer. So hopefully we see some good stuff from Porzingis, and Draymond's going to help. He's always a good defensive presence, and he's good at facilitating the ball and helping people get open as usual. And I love the Celtics play. I think that's very good value for a lay on, money line lay, especially with the Suns. Suns, you don't know where you're going to get from the Suns. There's a reason why the total is so low. They play ugly games, but the Celtics at home in the Garden, give me them all the way. And like you said, the Nets are the Nets. I don't think there's any other thing we have to say about that.
Yeah, they're just terrible. All right, let's get into the NHL today. I do have a good play here. Didn't hit my play yesterday, but we hit it the 2 days before that. So I'm looking to kind of bounce back and get on track here. I'm taking the Dallas Stars against the Utah Mammoth. The Stars are just in much better form here. They've won the last 4 of their last 5 games. Their one loss came from the Avalanche, who is a good team. They're a good team, and it was a 5-4 loss. It was a respectable game. Utah, on the other hand, has lost their last 4 straight. Dallas has the goaltending advantage in Jake Oettinger over Karel Vejamelka. Again, check the goalies before you bet it. I bet these games the night before to try to get the most value on them. But again, these are the projected goalies, and I think Dallas is just a more competitive team, and I think that they have the goalie advantage. So there's no reason in my mind to stay off of that. And you're going to give me a plus 105 on the 60-minute money line. I'll take that any day. I love this play so much. Do you have any thoughts in hockey in general? We do have a few games. LA Kings are visiting the Rangers.
Yeah.
I know that Mike McClure has a pick on that game. Pittsburgh at Colorado. That was also a very interesting one to me. But what do you see here on this NHL slate?
So actually, I did have an NHL one. I'm going to say, and this is, I know it's a very suspicious kind of 60-minute money line, but give me, I don't know what it's on DK, but give me the Avalanche 6-minute money line on minus 140. I'll take the juice. Avalanche are not going to lose back-to-back games. And I don't think it'll happen in regulation. I think Avalanche are pissed they even lost because they barely lost this year. And I think they're going to demolish the Penguins, in my personal opinion. They're just the best team.
I think you're right. I do. They actually were the strongest play on my model. They were the strongest play on my model despite the minus 140 juice, but I just couldn't bite the bullet on a minus 140 60-minute money line. And then I thought, oh, maybe I should parlay their money line together with Dallas or something like that. And I was just like, no, keep it separate. But I do love the Colorado Avalanche play. Is that an official play for you? Because then I get to play it.
Yeah, as an official play, I do have a 25% boost for anything on Fanatics, and I might use it on that. But honestly, for the sake of the show, I would bite the bullet on the minus 140. Usually, my limit for juice is minus 140. I would say that's my limit usually when it comes to juice.
For sure, for sure. You also have to keep in mind what the line is, though. If it was a minus 140 on just the straight money line, I would be jumping on this all day. It's just
Yes.
because you're also not getting basically a push condition. You're losing on a tie, which really kind of stinks if there's like some late game variance. But right now, I am putting a half a unit on. It's available on MGM, FanDuel. It's widely available at minus 140. I think this is a great price. And again, my model had this as the greatest edge of any of the games. So I do love that as well.
And I think the last time they
Vegas,
lost back to back games was late January.
that's insane. Yeah, yeah. All right, cool. There was one other look that I had: Boston Bruins versus the New Jersey Devils. No pick from me, but I thought that this might be a very high variance game where I would bet on whoever is losing early. Slight lean to the Boston side. But both of these teams don't really necessarily know how to handle leads. Saying that as a person who's been on both of them lately.
If
All
I had to
right, cool.
lean somewhere, it would probably be just because both teams don't know how to hold leads. I would lean. It's not an official play, but the over. I know there's a lot of juice on the over, like minus 140, but since
No, it's
both
not bad.
teams, yeah,
It's only over 5.5. It's really not terrible.
yeah, and that's yeah, like yeah, it's honestly not that bad at all. And I personally think because, like you said, both teams don't know how to hold leads, so that goal line is not bad.
Yeah, no, and yeah, like I said, I'm just going to be watching to play something live on these
Same.
games. All right, let's get into soccer, and then we'll head into college basketball because I am very excited to get into it. I do have a three-leg parlay now. My Friday soccer play cashed. My soccer play from yesterday did not. So I am looking to even up, or I guess get even on the score here. There's only really a handful of games going off today. Maybe you should put a half unit on this instead of a full unit. I did do a full unit, full disclosure. I took Brentford to score, Fiorentina to score, and the game Rayo Vallecano versus Levante under 3.5 goals. Now, according to my model, these are the greatest edges on the board, hands down. Brentford's playing the Wolves. Now, the Wolves have been playing great lately, especially defensively, but Brentford is coming off a 0-0 tie, and I like them to score at least one against at least this year, historically really bad Wolves defense. So I don't know how much they're going to be able to keep it up. And especially going scoreless yesterday, they rarely go back-to-back scoreless games. So I love the Brentford to be able to score against a structurally unsound Wolves team that I would say negative regression is coming their way despite their recent success. Now, Fiorentina is going up against a Cremonese side that has lost 14 straight domestic matches and routinely gives up high danger opportunities and goals from those high danger opportunities. So getting Fiorentina just to score one was just like a juice booster. And then the last one here, I don't think is going to be a real big sweat. Rayo Vallecano versus Levante. Neither of these teams in their last five have gone over 3 goals. This is a lower scoring league, and we should very much expect a cagey possession-filled performance with a very low block from each team. I do not expect to see either team pushing too much. I think that either team would be happy with a 1-0 victory. So, yeah, give me the under 3.5 goals in there, and you can parlay that all together on Caesars at minus 124. I know that you generally don't have thoughts on soccer, but I'll pass it back to you just to give your thoughts.
Oh, no thoughts at all.
Okay, let's get into college basketball here. Now, this is where I was most excited to get to. We had our special bracketology episode yesterday. Hopefully, we have another one today, depending on our schedules. We'll talk later. But I'll open it for you first. Do you have any best bets off the board? Maybe a Sweet 16 to reach, or Elite Eight, or a specific game that you're either looking at?
Yeah, definitely. One of my favorite, because I've been following this team. I like this team. One of my favorites is the game that's tomorrow is UMBC versus Howard. This is the first four to get in, guys. It's basically you're playing to get into the 16 seeds. Basically, this is the battle to get destroyed by Michigan. But you know what? Thanks for coming. Type thing. I love UMBC, and I'm sorry they have to face Michigan after this. But the slipper fit for them against Virginia back in 2018. The last time they won this conference. So, but when it comes to this, UMBC actually moved down to minus 1.5. I really like the minus 1.5 for their money line. I think it's like minus 125 or minus 130. They're just overall the better team, in my personal opinion, with all across the metrics. So basically, overall, if you just look at them, Howard is a slightly better defensive team, but UMBC's offense is far and superior, better than Howard. Howard can play pretty good defense, but UMBC is going to have some of the best players on the court. They have Ace Valentine, they have King, they have Armstrong. They just have dogs across the board, as I call it. They can shoot the three, they can make free throws, right? And they have a lot of counter actions. So the problem is Howard's strengths get negated by UMBC's weaknesses, which is one of the biggest issues that I see here. For example, Howard's really good at getting to the line, but UMBC doesn't foul a lot. Howard has good offensive rebounding, but UMBC has great defensive rebounding. So I love UMBC here when it comes to the game that's tomorrow.
You know what? That was actually Almost a play of mine yesterday. My model loves UMBC. It really does. It was really so close to being a play for me, and I wanted to talk to you first about it. You can get the money line at -118 on MGM right now, and I just took it. So yeah, I definitely full heartedly back this play.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, UMBC is a fun team to watch. I think I'm happy they won the American East. They deserved it. Vermont's been a powerhouse there for a while. And then something I will say though is I don't necessarily have a full take in this NC State and Texas game. And then when it comes to the Miami, Ohio SMU game, 7.5 seems short, but it seems like kind of like a trap thing because I think the first four is in Ohio, but instead of trying to fall for this trap, and this is whether you believe if Miami, Ohio is legit or not. But if you want to back Miami, Ohio plus 7.5, I think it's better to bet the over in this game. 163.5 is too low for these two teams. Personally, my both don't play really don't play great defense overall. I know Miami has a worse defense, but Miami also is a really good 3-point shooting team. And when you're a really good 3-point shooting team and you have really good ball movement, you can score. This game's going to be in the 90s and 80s personally. And I love the over in this.
Yeah, the over under is set at 164. That's insane. But yeah, I don't disagree. There's a reason why it's set at that high.
Yeah,
uh,
exactly. And it's better to bet the over than back Miami, Ohio's spread. Personally, because Miami, Ohio is not going to necessarily slow down SMU. If they're going to cover, they're going to have to keep up with SMU.
I love it. I love the analysis. All right. Anything else before I go on to my plays here?
Yeah, did you want me to go over the other looks I see for Thursday and Friday? Just a few.
You know what? Let me go through it because I
Yeah.
might be covering the same games that you're kind of going through here. My first straight game bet. Now, this is really the only one that I had circled. Kansas over Cal Baptist. Now, I think this is just going to be a blowout. I don't see a way that Cal Baptist is going to be able to be competitive here. I expect Kansas to run up the score, and I expect them to run it up early. I'm going to take the first half -7.5 at -122 over on Bet Rivers. Again, this just projects to be a full blowout. Cal Baptist is going to be really pressed to keep up here, and I don't think they're going to be able to do it in any which way, shape, or form. Any thoughts on this game? Do you think Cal Baptist has any chance at keeping it close?
No, I love your take on that. This spread opened at 12.5 and it's 14.5. I love your first half there. Something about Cal Baptist, they're one team, they're one player oriented. Dominic Daniels, who's the third leading scorer in the league, like in the whole college basketball, but he's 5'10". Cal Baptist is a very small team. They're not going to get any rebounds against KU. They're going to get absolutely dominated in the paint. And something about Bill Self is he never loses in the first round. He lost once in the first round, and that was in his like 20 plus years coaching at Kansas. That was last year against Arkansas, which was a very bad draw for him. So yeah, I expect pure domination here. Kansas won't let off the gas, and I just don't see how Dominic Daniels can deal with these 6'4", 6'6" guards. I don't think people realize how massive Kansas is.
Yeah, this is going to be that. When we talked about this yesterday, I was like, I don't see Cal Baptist being able to be competitive against a lot of people here. They're just not size
We
advantaged.
can probably sit Darren Peterson to rest him here.
Let's not jinx ourselves yet. All right, the next three plays I have are all on FanDuel. Actually, sorry, one of them is on DK, but you can find them all on FanDuel. They're all to reach the Elite Eight or to reach the Sweet 16. And essentially, what we're betting on here, if you're betting on a team to reach the Elite Eight, you're expecting them to win the next three games. You're expecting them to win the opening matchup, the next matchup, and the third matchup, right? If they just need to reach the Sweet 16, you're only asking them to win two games, right? Just to put it in perspective here. I think all three of these teams have a very easy path forward. And that's primarily why I took the numbers before I expect the public to bet on them and the numbers to move. The first one is Iowa State to reach the Elite Eight. They have an elite defense. We talked about this yesterday. They have a very easy path comparably to get to the Elite Eight. The number's at minus 105, which I thought was fantastic. They're going to be facing Tennessee State, full blowout there, most likely. And then they're going to face Kentucky or Santa Clara, neither of whom scare me. All right. Kentucky could go cold at any minute. I actually think Kentucky loses in the first round, but that's another story. Not betting on it, just what I think might happen. And then I think that there's going to be nice value and hedging opportunities against their likely opponent in the Sweet 16, Tennessee or Virginia. Iowa State should be favored in both of those matchups, which will create a nice hedging opportunity if you should so choose. I probably will not, because I expect Iowa State to easily reach the Elite Eight, beating all the teams that I just mentioned. So at a price of minus 105, I love it. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so something else about Iowa State, they do have a history of not doing great in the tournament and underachieving, but this is a very favorable bracket for them, being a 2 seed, because they don't have to face Michigan until the very end, until the Elite Eight, which is really nice. I'm like you. I'll talk about it later. I love Santa Clara, but their most likely matchup is Tennessee or Virginia, in my personal opinion. And it'll be even easier, I think, for them if somehow, right, we see like SMU make a run somehow. Like SMU beats Miami, Ohio, and they make a run, and then they face Iowa State, and I think Iowa State could beat them. So I like that. You said it was minus 105.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
was just a no-brainer
Yeah.
of a pick when I saw it. I was like, this is just too good of a value. And again, you can always hedge later on. Iowa State, again, any number 1 or 2 seed will likely be the favored going into any of these matchups later on. And you always kind of want to
You can
judge
live
that
bet
in
hedge.
and bake that into the price.
Yeah, you can always live bet hedge too, which I love to do because, like, say for example, Iowa State goes up against Santa Clara. If they face Santa Clara second round by like 20, there's like a plus 2,000 for Santa Clara or something, and then you can always just put a little money on that and hedge, keep going. So yeah.
Yep. Yep. And then the other 2 plays I had were both to reach the Sweet 16. One is terrible juice, one is fine. Gonzaga, minus 145 to reach the Sweet 16. I thought that there was a lot of value here despite the bad price. They also have a very easy path forward. They're facing Kennesaw State and then the winner of BYU or Texas/NC State. Now, their interior efficiency should really just dominate in all these matchups. I don't see them having a trouble. They have the better team. They have the better offense. I think they'll be able to bully their way to at least 2 victories here in March Madness on the tournament. Do you have any thoughts here? But
Yes.
I just think that this is just such a good game, just such a good draw for them.
That's really good juice. Hopefully, Braden Huff can come back after the first round. He's been honestly one of their best players. He's been hurt for a while. I think their toughest matchup in the second round wouldn't be Texas or BYU. I think it would be NC State, just because of NC State plays. But I think if they play BYU at Texas, that's a tough draw for BYU and Texas. BYU doesn't play much defense, and they just rely on AJ DeBonsta and Rob Wright to get the job done for them. So I love that Sweet 16 for them. They got a very favorable one. It is going to be hard for them in the Sweet 16 if they have to face Purdue or Miami, but I love them getting to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I was not interested in touching them to reach the Elite Eight. I was just interested in them winning the first 2 games. And you're right, NC State would be the game that I would 100% hedge on if it came down to that matchup, because I think that is the toughest game. That's the toughest one that they're going to have to defeat. The last game here, I guess the last play here, is a 3-leg parlay to reach the Sweet 16. I took Arizona, Florida, and Purdue. Now, all are heavy favorites to win their first 2 games, which makes a nice value parlay. The real matchup here is, because I don't expect any problems from Florida or Arizona, the real matchup to look out here for is Purdue. This is a play on Purdue. They have had some shaky defensive performances this season, right? They gave up 90-something to Wisconsin, I believe. But if they can get their defense together, and except for that one game, they have shown that they can. They have a very easy path to win just 2 games. They have Queens College. Again, we talked about this yesterday. Queens College is not going to have a chance against most teams in the bracket. And then would likely be a very heavy favorite against either Missouri or Miami, either one which should win. And I think that we can have another hedging opportunity here against whoever it is, because Purdue, again, is a higher seed. They're a very prominent name, and the juice will always be laying with them. But I like them to win outright. I do. And I think to reach the Sweet 16 at a price of minus 122, backing three heavy favorites, I think it's great value. How do you feel about Purdue in this tournament?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of this Miami Florida team. I think they personally are going to beat Missouri. That's not going to be any kind of official play for me. But I think the toughest matchup, just because of matchups for Purdue, would be Missouri because of their size. But I think they'll if Miami wins, because I think Miami's just better than Missouri. I think they should be able to beat Miami. But Miami is a very gritty team where they rarely lose by a lot, except for that Virginia game. They lost by a lot, which was very surprising. So the Miami one is going to be very tough if they have to face them.
Yep, but they should still be favored. So if you want to
Oh
hedge,
yeah, oh yeah, they'll be favored. I'm going to guess by 6.5 or 7.5.
at least. So again, good at hedging opportunities, which is something that I always look for when I'm looking at futures, because it's no.
Michigan, Florida, yeah, easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. All right, so those are all the plays for me. I'm happy that you're on board them. The only other play that I wanted to get on, I just couldn't find a dance partner, was St. John's. I love their money line. I don't know how I feel about the spread yet. I'm looking into it, but I think St. John's is going to be heavily undervalued by the public looking for upsets in March Madness. Everyone likes to get those 12-5 upsets, but I just St. John's is a beast, and if honestly, if they can make it through a few 2 rounds, I think that they have a good shot of going pretty far in this tournament. Uh,
St. John's and Kansas got tough draws
yeah,
because they would have to face each other, and then whoever wins that would have to face Duke.
yep. So yeah, but again, if Duke doesn't make it and it's just Kansas or St. John's, I'd like both of those teams to win it.
Yes, I think Duke or Saint. I mean, I'm not Duke or St. John. I think St. John's or Kansas could beat Duke.
Yep.
Personally,
Yeah.
I think the number one overall seed Duke got a tough draw. Actually, if you think about anything for any 4 and 5 seed, if you look at any other division,
Yep. Yep. My future is going to be sweating on them. I got to remember a plus 1,300 preseason ticket on Duke. And I thought I was golden until those injuries.
But hey, your best bet is if St. John's beats Kansas. 'Cause I know you have one on St. John's. That's going to help because no matter what, one of your futures is going to the
Oh
Elite
yeah.
Eight.
Oh yeah. The only team here that I don't have a future on is St. John's. I have a future on Kansas and I have a future on Duke. So hoping one of those teams go through. Honestly, it might be worth it just to hedge right now on St. John's. That's something I'll
Yeah.
think about when we get off.
Well, because you think about it, yeah, one of those three teams, I believe, will go to the Elite Eight because I don't see, personally, looking at Duke, I don't see Duke losing to Ohio State or TCU.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts on college basketball on the brackets? Maybe a team that you're
Yes.
looking out for, an upset. What do you got for me?
Yeah, so something I love is this St. Mary's team. This is a terrible, terrible matchup for Texas A&M. I know I know people may say, "Hey, Texas A&M, they've played in the SEC schedule. They started off great, but then they also tailed off." And I try to remind people because St. Mary's is -3.5 right now. They were -2.5. I personally loved them at -2.5, and I still kind of like a -3.5. I think A&M does gain steam, but their money line is I think is -160. But St. Mary's is just a superior rebounding team. They're going to control the pace. That's what they do. And Randy Bennett, the coach of St. Mary's, when he makes it to the tournament, he always gets out of the first round. They actually are a more experienced team than A&M in the tournament as of late. And they just have better guard play. They know how to control the pace at a high rate. And I don't see how A&M can deal with their bigs. They have two 7-foot monsters. They have really big guards. They have one of the best players in their conference in Morauskas. They have another great player in Mikey Lewis. They have Dent, and it's just going to be hard for A&M, especially with their poor defense and St. Mary's really good defense.
I like it. They're -2.5 on the spread right now.
Oh, the -2.5, awesome.
I think that's it. Yeah, I do like
Yeah,
that play a lot.
yeah.
I think a lot of sharp people are on it as well.
And then another one I like. personally is this spread has moved as well. It opened at 2.5, and then it went to 4.5, and I think it's 3.5 now. I like Santa Clara plus 3.5. Personally, I think they win outright. I know a lot of people will see UK and Kentucky and they'll think, oh, they're going to be Santa Clara. The Santa Clara team is very underrated. They actually have an NBA prospect on there. Christian Hammond's a great one. They're a really big team. They have the size to match Kentucky. Kentucky, they're a terrible defensive rebounding team, while Santa Clara is a great offensive rebounding team. They had number one offense in their conference over Gonzaga. And they know how to shoot the three. Their 3-point percentage may show otherwise, but they do have guards that can shoot the three, and they do have a big man that can shoot the three. Kentucky goes on too many scoring droughts for my liking. You can also, yes, they did lose to Gonzaga 3 times, but 2 out of the 3 were pretty close games. And people may say, "Oh, Kentucky beat Florida." They didn't beat Florida, but they beat other good teams. But when Kentucky did face Gonzaga, they lost by like 40 plus. So I don't like the necessarily disrespect that I see on the media for Santa Clara. But I think Santa Clara can win this game because their guard play and how they love to play. They'll play any pace you get them at. That's the great thing about them. They play fast. They can play slow. They're a great rebounding team. They have bigs that can shoot, and I think they beat Kentucky. But I would take the spread though, because 3.5 is a gift.
Yep. I'm very much in lockstep with you. I was the first upset that I chose on my bracket. Not even necessarily calling that an upset because I think that a lot of people expect them to win. I was surprised by the number, and I definitely love that as well.
Yep, I do have a couple more. One of the ones we talked about. Remember, we said if Akron matched up with Texas Tech, they have a chance. And I know we talked about this. And something I'm going to say is I'm going to take Akron with the spread. I think they caused the upset. I think they're like plus 7.5 or 6.5. Opened at 8.5. But their second best player in Texas Tech is still battling a groin injury. Christian Anderson, and we all know JT Toppin, one of the best players in the nation, is out. And they're saying that Christian Anderson is expected to play this Friday. But this is an early game in the morning for Texas Tech. And I'm just a big believer in this Akron team. I think they have a chance to pull the upset. Actually, I think they do pull the upset. I'll just say it right now. But I'll take the 3+ possession spread for that.
I actually have a play on the under 157.5 here. Do you have any thoughts on that? It just seems like
So
a very
yeah,
high total.
So Akron likes to play very fast, and Tech likes to play slow. So it's whether or not Akron can speed up Texas Tech or Texas Tech can slow down Akron, and it's hard to slow down Akron. But Texas Tech games with them is if they get sped up, it's going to go way over. If they don't, they'll control the pace, and it'll be in the 60s and 70s range. So that'll be very interesting to see. It would be a
Yeah,
good live
yeah.
total bet.
A lot of these games are going to be a clash of styles, which are always very interesting to see. And again, that's where you get the luck of the draw. Who are you going to be able to face? Are you going to be able to play up tempo? Alabama's going to be a great example of this. If they get a person who can run with them, they're likely to blow them out. But if you can get somebody who plays defensive half court ball and shuts them down and maybe throws them off their game, that's a possibility or an opportunity for an upset. And we've seen it time and time again against heavy favorites. So I do think that we do see a very chalk heavy tournament, just like we did last year. But there are always opportunities for upsets, and I'm excited to see which one kind of happens. Do you have any thoughts on maybe a big upset? Not that
Yes.
necessarily you're betting on or whatever, but just a game that you have your eye out on.
So yeah, actually, I think it's the 12-5 that is the infamous where 50% of 12s usually win each year. So that's very interesting to see. I think an upset that I personally that I think an upset alert in my personal opinion because it is such a big spread. Is McNeese. McNeese over Vanderbilt. I know Vanderbilt's a really good team, but right now the 11.5 point dogs. Also, of course, these aren't official plays yet. I'll probably make these official plays during on Thursday, while as I see the lines move and stuff. Because I feel like some lines will move. But early look though is I love McNeese plus 11.5. They caused an upset over Clemson last year too. And I am going to. I know a lot of people are on Vanny. They just beat Florida. They barely lost to Arkansas. And Vandy has great ball control, but McNeese is like the number one team in the nation forcing turnovers. Their ball pressure is elite. McNeese does better against teams that aren't as big, and the problem with Vandy is they're not a big team, and they struggle with boards. The reason why they blew out Florida is because Florida couldn't make anything; nothing can go in the hoop. That's why McNeese did well against Clemson in the first round last year because they weren't big, and then they ran into Purdue last year, and they just got dominated in the paint. But I like McNeese. This is my upset of I think one of my upsets of the tourney that I have.
Nice. I don't mind it. I was going back and forth on my bracket, Vanderbilt versus McNeese. And honestly, I'm going to probably have brackets with both of them in it. And I think whoever
Same.
wins will beat Nebraska, who is the likely favorite or the likely winner against Troy in the round before underneath them. So whoever wins should get into at least the next round, the Sweet 16. I do like that play. Might be worth a sprinkle. I'm going to take a look at that because
Yeah. I like the spread, I would say a lot. That's too much points for a very gritty McNeese team that will try to slow down the game. I also think 150 might be a little too high for this McNeese team as well.
yeah, I'll have to run the model on that number as well. I definitely lean over just based on the sharp money coming.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I know McNeese played Michigan earlier in the season. The game was like 100 to 70 something. That was a fun game to watch. But another upset that I have a couple more to take. Is I know this was a consensus for some people. Is South Florida? Their spread dropped. I think they opened at like 7.5, and now they're like +5, +4.5. I think Mikel Brown for Louisville is expected to play, but I'm just a big fan of this USF team. The Bulls, they have a great coach, very well coached team. I'm not a believer in the coach for Louisville, Pat Kelsey. I like USF to cause an upset here, especially with the way the spread is dropping too. That's another upset I have.
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to look into that. It's an interesting one to me. It's so fascinating how these tournaments turn out because, again, it's only just one game. It's not best out of 5, best out of 3, best out of 7. It's just one game. Anything can happen.
Yep.
You get
Anything
cold.
can happen. Like someone could be cold. Like for example, Louisville can be cold from three, and that could cost them. There is no 2 game, 3 game. Because like I'm gonna say this to the viewers, guys. If Louisville played USF 10 times, Louisville would probably win 8 out of 10 times. But there's that two. That's the problem. Is that if you are cold, the teams to look at to get upset are teams that rely on 3-point shooting a lot and not as much paint scoring. So that's the thing, because if they're cold from three, right, and especially since USF likes to push the pace, another look for that game I know people are talking about is possibly the over between USF and Louisville. But I personally really like, I like USF to cause the upset there. And then I would say an interesting game, another interesting game to look out for, in my personal opinion, is the Hawaii Arkansas game. I think this is a lot of points to give Arkansas. I'm a big fan of this Arkansas team. I think they're going to score a bunch of points, but Hawaii is a very underrated team, even away from the island. They're a massive. They have the size. They have a center named Isaac Johnson, who's a beast. They have Dre Bullock, who's a really good guard. He can jump out the window. I think Arkansas wins. I don't think it was upset, but I think 15.5 points is quite a bit of points for a gritty Hawaii team, in my personal opinion.
If you're going to take that, I would actually prefer the first half plus 8.5. I think that's a sharper play than taking the full game and risking a blowout over the longer length of the game. If you expect them to be competitive and gritty, I would say that they would have to do that by the first half or they have no shot.
Yep. Oh yeah, definitely. And then I forgot this game. This is probably one of my favorites. This will probably be one of my best bets. And when it comes to Thursday, and this is playing on. Oh, actually, no. I'll say my official picks on Wednesday. Because this one starts on Friday though. Utah State -2.5 over Villanova. Love this Utah State team. Villanova's still banged up and injured. Utah State plays excellent defense, and I think they're going to be too physical for Villanova. I've watched the Mountain West Conference. They have an amazing transition offense. I know Villanova takes care of the ball well, but they make teams that take care of the ball will turn over the ball. And San Diego State had one of the best transition defenses in the nation, and then they couldn't stop Utah State in transition. Utah State can shoot the three, they can score inside, they can play defense left and right. The only way Villanova, I think, could win this game is they hit their threes. But I think this Aggies team feels disrespected. The fact that they were a 9 seed and not higher. I know the coach was pissed that they weren't at least a 7 seed because that's what I had them projected as. And I think they're going to come out with blood and fire.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because I drive by Villanova every single day on my way to work, and I do root for them just because of that. No real analysis there, but I do think that they lose, and I'm really kind of sad that I think that they lose.
Their injuries are hurting them. That's the problem too.
Yeah. All right. Let's recap our best bets here and let's get on out of here. I'm very happy that we went through a lot of this March Madness bracket. Obviously,
Yep.
we have more to get to, so maybe we'll talk later and get on another show. But for now, recap, and I'll get on out of here.
Yeah, my best bet is for today is I have two, the Magic and Hawks over 231.5, and then the Colorado Avalanche on the 60-minute money line.
Yeah, I love that value of that play. Please send me both of those so I can get them in the recap screen. I have a bevy of picks for you today. I'm interested to hear what Brad Betts has against my picks, but I did choose them according to my model. Brentford to score, Fiorentina to score, and the Rayo Vallecano Levante game under 3.5 goals. I got that juiced at minus 124 over at Caesars. In the NHL, I have the Dallas Stars 60-minute money line at plus 105. In the NBA, I have a half a unit on a 3-leg money line parlay featuring the Warriors, Trailblazers, and Celtics. I would prefer the spread parlay that I normally do. It just wasn't available at the time that I was creating this. And then again, in the March Madness brackets, I have Kansas first half minus 7.5. That might be my favorite play, hands down. And then I have 3 futures. Iowa State to reach the Elite 8 at minus 105. Again, easy path. Gonzaga to reach the Sweet 16, minus 145. And then also a 3-leg money line, 3-leg parlay to reach the Sweet 16, Arizona, Florida, and Purdue. And that was at minus 122. Thank you guys so much for listening to us. We really appreciate it. We have a great week of sports ahead, and I can't wait to cover all of it. We got World Baseball Classic later tonight, and then again, we're going to have the championships, which is just going to be epic no matter who's playing with it. So again, thank you. Go like us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube podcast as well. And we're going to have a great day, and hopefully we see you tomorrow. Thank you, guys. See you soon.